Hey up, troops. A Littleton here again with another... Bloody hell. With another video. And I think that might give it away. This time, we're going to be looking at smoke. So I'm actually going to mix it up a little bit on this video. Instead of going on a speech for 90 seconds about why smoke's super strong, he is strong by the way, I'm going to include a clip from a game where I'm playing on Chalet, and it's an example I will include later on in the video, but you can see what I do as Smoke, you can see how I'll play him. We'll then get into the usual route. We'll then go down the loadouts, the basics, tips and tricks, and examples on ranked maps. So enough for me waffling on, although not as much this time. Let's get stuck into it.
I was dead. Switch is dead.
He's on the 4 ping.
Has to fall. Last two in 5 place sides.
Look at me on
5 place stairs.
Smokes on breach. Hey, K9, go door.
I go, yeah.
That's
ace.
4 remaining.
Last is top 5 place.
Pushing piano, I think.
Lay the nest.
Yeah, she's on breach.
On breach.
She's going... She's still on breach.
She's still on breach. She has to vault it. She's
gobbled
going to up.
Right then, let's get started with Smoke's loadout then. So Smoke has the FMG9, the SAS shotgun, which is the M590A1, the P226, and the SMG11. His secondary gadgets there is barbed wire and shields. Now, for me, it's fairly cut and dry on what I take with Smoke, and it's always the shotgun, the SMG11, and the shield. I don't think the shield or the barbed wire or the SMG11 and the P226 has any conversation, really. The SMG11, in my opinion, should always be taken, and the shield should always be taken. The question comes as to whether you take the shotgun or the FMG9. We have maybe, well, I have, and I know a lot of people have seen the clip of Bolo just absolutely shagging on Chalet on when he was defending Mez, using the FMG9 as Smoke. It's an absolute headshot machine, especially on defense with that 1.5 scope. It's an absolute laser on defense. The thing is, you've then got to rely on other people to bring impacts or, you know, a Bailiff shotgun or a shotgun primary. When people see Smoke on the board, I think they just assume there's going to be rotates made, so they don't worry about bringing anything else. So, yeah, I mean, like I've said to you on videos before when it comes to the loadout, I am awful with shotguns on Siege, and this is no exception. It's just really useful for making lines of sight, making vertical angles, making rotates, opening hatches, etc. The SMG11 for me is the gun that I use 90% of the time anyway. I will use the shotgun if I get into a sticky situation. But yeah, I can see when, like I said on the mute video, I think I can see scenarios where taking mute MP5 is a good idea, and I can see certain scenarios where taking Smoke FMG9 is a good idea, as long as you've got the way to make the lines of sight and the rotates via other means. But yeah, for me personally, I think it's SAS shotgun, SMG11, and shield. If anyone tries to justify taking barbed wire over shield with Smoke, I think I'll probably just cry. So what does Smoke's utility do? Smoke is an area denial operator. So if you've got a part of the map that you don't want an enemy coming through without taking damage, or at least deter them from coming through that area, Smoke's your man. You throw toxic vape canisters down in certain areas of the map, and you can let them go. And that will then send out this yellow toxic vape gas, which will deter an enemy coming through that area. I say deter because it doesn't stop them. They can still walk through, but they will take damage if they do that, and we'll get onto the damage in a second. Whilst we're down here, by the way, did you know with this clay block here, if you hit this a couple of times, you can reveal a statue of Tachanka? Don't know if you knew that, but there you go. There he is in all his glory. Go on, Chanky. So the way to use Smoke's utility is to throw the toxic vape canister, press and hold the gadget button, and it'll throw it onto the wall. Or it's actually really sticky, by the way. That's one thing to really remember about the canister. It'll stick to any surface, no matter where you throw it. I don't think there's anything that it doesn't stick to, or I've never experienced anything that it doesn't stick to. So yeah, you can think about that when you're throwing it. You know, if you want to throw it on the door, you don't have to worry about it bouncing off. It's going to stick to wherever you throw it. I don't know what it's made of, but it's pretty sticky. Anyway, so yeah, you can throw that towards the area that you want to deny, After you've thrown it, that will remain on the floor, and the enemies, if they see that canister, they can shoot it and it will get destroyed. So just bear that in mind when you throw it. To be honest, there's not many times when you're going to throw a toxic vape canister and you don't detonate it straight away. It does happen sometimes, so just bear in mind that can be destroyed by an enemy if they shoot it, and I've just missed the ping. How embarrassing. So yeah, if when you want to detonate the smoke canister, all you've got to do is repress the gadget button, a little detonator comes out, and then you can see the area of effect that the smoke grenade takes up there within this sort of yellow smoke, this yellow gas. As I say, any enemy that walks through here is going to take damage. They can walk through it without dying, and you can see the duration that it's there for. So we'll look at the clock. We'll trigger it when it gets down to 27:10, and then we'll look at the clock as to how much time's gone, and we can see how long it is, just so you can see a sort of a visual representation above. So we've triggered it on 10. You can see the area of effect is quite large. Your vision does get distorted when you're in it. So it was 10 seconds we set it off at, by the way. And as you can see, by 58, it's gone. So it's 12 seconds that the toxic vape canister is active for, that the gas is in the air for. Point of note, and it's quite apt whilst I'm doing this video, Ubisoft said recently that they were going to change it so Smoke was affected by his own smoke. As you can see, that's not the case, and that won't be making it to the live server. Smoke can stand in his own smoke canisters and not take damage, thankfully. That hasn't made it to the live server. And what I will say on that point is props to Ubisoft for putting something on the test server that didn't go down very well or didn't seem to work very well, and then they reverted the decision. That's exactly what the test server's for, so yeah, fair play on that point. So there is a reason we're down here in Art, and it's not just the Chanker over there. It's because this room is actually a decent representation of the width and the length of the toxic vape canister's area of effect. So we're going to throw it bang in the middle of the room there, give or take. And once I set this off, you're going to see the width of the cloud, and we'll go around to the piano room to see the length of it as well. It's spherical. It's not longer one side or the other. But once detonated, you can see that it's pretty much the width of the art room, give or take. And it's obviously then the same each side. So you're looking at from here to the other side, you're looking at 7 meters across, roughly, give or take. But this room is a decent representation, visual representation of the size of the cloud. But yeah, you're looking at 7 meters in diameter. Is it diameter? I think it is diameter, isn't it? It's not radius. Radius is halfway across the circle. Or is diameter all the way around the circle? I don't know. It's 7 meters across. I need to go back and do some secondary school maths, I think. But yeah, 7 meters across. Let's just go with that. So now we're going to go through how fast it's going to kill an opponent. And the key thing to remember here is it takes 7 seconds to plant the diffuser. But let's have a look how long it takes to kill an opponent. We've used Buck here because he's a 2 speed, 2 health, which means he has 110 HP. So we're going to drop this off when it gets down to 29 minutes exactly. I think it takes 4 seconds with 15 damage per second going. I think it's a tick of every 2 ticks per second. So let's have a look. We'll start it now. And he's dead after 4.5 seconds there because he's got 110 HP. If that was an Asher, an IQ, or any 3 speed, that'd have been bang on 4 seconds. If it's a 3 armor like Gridlock or Fuse, that's going to be 125 health. That means it's going to take a full 5 seconds. So it's between 4 and 5 seconds, depending on the health of the operator. So that's what Smoke's utility does. Where and when should we be using Smoke? And the answer to that is fairly simple. Smoke is best used on or near sight when an attacker wishes to take a certain part of the map which is key to their execute. And what I mean by that is, if you're defending Trophy Astro, the default plant over there is on concrete, as we call it in EU, but I believe they call it bricks in NA. Regardless of what you call it, that's where the attackers generally want to plant with a master push. If that's the case, you need to take Astro to be able to plant there. And if you're going to do that, as a defender, you need to hold Astro for as long as you can. Now, please let me get this across really early on with Smoke. A Smoke player is much better off alive with no smokes than dead having not used any smokes. I see smoke players reluctant to use the smokes early on in the round because they think it's a waste. They want to try and save it for the plant denial. That's great if you can stay alive that long. But if you're not using the smokes to stop the push through bathroom here, and you end up getting picked off for whatever reason, and you've not used any of your smokes, it's a complete waste. You're much better off using all smokes within the first 30 seconds. Obviously, try not to do that if you can. Within the first 30 seconds to deny bathroom, than you are not using any smokes and getting picked off. You're much better alive with no smokes than dead with all 3. I hope that makes sense. So yes, if you can... The longer Smoke is alive in the round, the more valuable those smoke canisters are, because they are able to deny certain areas of the map, obviously, and mainly the plant spots later on is the plan. But the longer he's alive, the more valuable those smoke canisters can get. However, don't die with them in your pocket if you were worried about using them early. Quick shameless plug time. The reason I say shameless plug is because what I'm about to say is relevant to another series that I'm doing on my channel at the minute, which is the default plant spots on every ranked map. I've done Clubhouse in Oregon at the minute. Funnily enough, we're on Villa now, but Villa's coming next. If you're a smoke player and you're lucky enough to have held Astro, for example, for the entire round, you know the attackers are going to think about going into plant on concrete or bricks. You can start throwing canisters there to deny it and not let the attackers plant. But that's something you need to start thinking about as a smoke player. As the round progresses and you think, right, there's 20 seconds left, 30 seconds left, right, where's the plant going to go down if it is going to go down? If you've got comms, there's 2 people in master, it's going to go down there. If you've got comms at the pushing trophy, it's going to go down at that end of trophy. And that's when you can start thinking about making lines of sight higher up the wall to enable you to throw the canisters from relative safety towards the end of the end of trophy there, where the plant's going to go down. That was probably a little bit too far. But yeah, you can, don't forget, that's another completely random tip here, by the way. Don't forget, you can manipulate the map later in the round if you need to. If you need to throw a smoke canister downstairs towards top red later in the round for any reason, open the wall and chuck it down towards top red. There's no rule saying you can't use a shotgun to open holes later on in the round, so use that to your advantage as well. But yeah, my point is, start to think about where the default plant locations are as the round progresses, because you might need to start smoking that out. So one of the key things you're going to have to do as a smoke player is keep your eye on the round timer. As we discussed earlier on, you know you've got 12 seconds of area denial in each canister. Let's just say, for example, for easy maths, you've got all 3 canisters left. Therefore, that's 36 seconds of area denial left. If we're down to the last 30 seconds of the round, and you know that they're trying to go for an aviator push here from zombie door, you can deny that door for the next 36 seconds with the 3 smokes that you've got. Don't throw all 3 at once. Don't get overexcited by throwing one, then throwing another straight away. Wait till you hear that the gas is about to end, and then throw the other again. I don't know why I just barricaded that. I want to pick that up. Hello? There we go. So keep an eye on the round timer. If you know you've only got 2 canisters left, you see the clock reach down to sort of 28, 27, 26 seconds left. You know you've got 24 seconds of denial. You can stop the entry into site there, or I say stop the entry. You can at least make the enemy take damage whilst running through the site there. So yeah, think about that. Look at the round timer. Remember, you've got 36 seconds worth of area denial. If you've got all 3, 12 seconds per canister. And then start thinking about where the attackers are going to push and how you can make it difficult for them to get into site and execute. The other area Smoke's really good is in 1vx situations. So let's just say we're in bar here and it's a 1v3. We know there's one top main, we know there's one 90, and we know there's one over on zombie door. Let's just say that, for example. So you know, if you're in a 1v3, the best way to win 1vx's is to isolate the fights into 3 1v1s. Obviously, fighting 2v1, it's not going to go your way very often. So isolate the fights into 1v1s. If you know you've got 190, you've got one zombie door, and you've got one top main, you can smoke off the zombie door. So you know that guy can't come through there. You can then smoke off 90. So you know the guy can't push 90. You can then isolate the fight on top main. Now, you might not win that fight, but that's your best chances there. And Smoker's really, really good at isolating fights because you can deny areas. So the guy can't push zombie, the guy can't push 90. You can take the fight top main. If you win that fight, great. Now you can go back to take the fight zombie. And hopefully the other guy hasn't come from 90. You can take the fight here. But you can isolate the 1v1s. Again, if you're in a 1v2, for example, there's a guy zombie. There's a guy bar door. You can smoke off bar door. Take the fight zombie. Fingers crossed get that kill. And now you're in a 1v1. But if you don't smoke that off, as you're fighting the guy zombie, the guy can be put... I just desk popped on my keyboard there. Apologies about that. The guy can be pushing in from bar door. So Smoker's really good at isolating fights and stopping people pushing you from certain angles whilst you're in 1vx situations as well. We're on to Chalet now, and this is probably my favourite place to play Smoke, although probably the most dangerous and most difficult. It's here on piano, on Chalet, and it's, yeah, holding the piano double door and trying to stop the default plan behind half wall. So as you can see, we've reinforced the 3 walls, 1, 2, and 3. We've left this one out with footholds, which means nobody can play here, because any of the attackers then can get, obviously, a line of sight from library or even just on library stairs. You know, they're going to see feet, so you can't play in there at the back of there. However, the plan is to sort of give that up almost and then deny the plant with smokes. Obviously, you don't want to just give it up straight away. You can challenge in there. What is really nice is, should that wall be opened, now you can't really see this. Maybe if I ping it and then run around, I don't know if I'm going to have time here, but you'll see that from the mez balcony, if I get there quick enough, you've just missed it. But that there is the angle that we're on. So if they do open this wall, you can still get an angle through that window out onto Mez through the head height holes there. So that looks out onto the Mez window. So not only can you challenge that from there, but you can then also throw smokes either underneath or over the top to stop the default plant if you need to. What I've also done this side is made the standard rotate, but also head height holes here. If they push solar and you need to start denying solar door, you can do through those head height holes. Or failing that, if it's the other way around, say you're pushed off piano and they are planting half wall, there are times where you'll just get pushed off here because there's someone on the window, there's someone on the door, there's someone on the balcony, you know, wherever it might be. You can then back off to here, and providing no one's on big window, you can then use these head height holes to deny the plant on half wall. Obviously throw the canister over the half wall because that's not going to do much from there. Let's try that again. I'm going to throw the canister over the half wall from relative safety this side, and set that off on the half wall there. But these head height holes here allow you to defend from this side towards half wall, or if the take's from the other way, you can defend this side towards solarium as well. But yeah, it's a tough place to play, mainly because you've got the piano window, the piano double, the breach if it's open, the balcony if it's open. You've also then got bathroom window behind you. It's a really tough place to play, but if you can hold it down and waste as much time as possible on the door there, you're onto a winner. Now, it couldn't be a smoke video if we didn't talk about playing Oregon on Albo, right? Now, this is... I just said Chalet was my favourite place. I think this is probably my favourite place. The only thing you got to watch for here is Flores, because he can really ruin holding Albo. Anyway, the setup quickly is a rotate here, a rotate here, a rotate from small box over that you can vault over into laundry. Head height holes across freezer wall. One hole that can hold tower stairs, and then a line of head height holes here, and an E-box with one hole here. This sometimes gets reinforced, so you can't make this hole, but if you can do... the reason I do that is because if nobody pushes blue, you can then hold tower stairs from here as well, which is really strong, because everybody coming down tower stairs never really cares about Albo, obviously. They're more worried about E-box, Pillar, Shaiko here behind the stairs, Harry Potter, etc. Anyway, this is a tough place to play again. And just one more random tip, as always. Make a head height hole, just like Villa. Make a head height hole there next to the reinforcements. Go prone, make a punch hole. Hopefully you don't make the rotate too close to this wall like I have on this example, but make a punch hole there. You can then hold freezer, and anyone who's coming through freezer is always going to be looking at this head height hole next to this reinforcement here. Anyway, back to the point in hand. The idea here is just to hold this for as long as possible to stop the standard default push. Don't get too... Look, get aggressive. This is the main angle you've got to watch for if you're getting aggressive. You'll get people tucked in tight here, waiting for you to get wide on the barrels. So what you can't do is just come out here and just wait to get expect someone behind the barrels, and someone's going to be on this tight angle. So check that angle first, then check the angle where they came down, and then you can play the barrels. What works so often is when you know someone's droning, they're always behind, they're going to be sat here droning. What works pretty much every time is if you smoke over the other side of the barrels, they run out. Every attacker will go from here and go, oh no, and try and run out that way. And at that point, as soon as you've got your smoke off and you've detonated, it's a free kill every time because they run that way and you can just kill them as they run away. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. But don't get too aggressive. It's key that you hold Albo. But they're the angles you want to be looking for. If they come freezer, you can go prone here. But yeah, just hopefully you've got an ADS or 3 and a couple of OMI magnets, and you can sit tight here and try and defend Albo for as long as you can. Eventually, you might have to give up Albo, and you can go back in sight and reinforce this. If you don't have to give up Albo, you can then hold tower stairs here. Or you can hold the run-in from freezer across there, or you can even go around to pillars again and hold freezer from there as well. Obviously, I don't have to tell you which angles you can cover, or you can go back through laundry if you want to. Into small box. You can cover bottom main. You can cover freezer from here as well, which is really big. That grey vertical line there is the edge of the freezer stairs. So just to the right of that there is the freezer stairs. So you can hold that from here if you want to. So it's an absolute power position. So you want to hold on to this for as long as you can. Really fun place to play. So there we have it. It's my boy Smoke. In my top 5 defenders to play, I really enjoy playing Smoke. If you can get the SMG11 down, I'm telling you, you're going to be unreal. As always, we've done Smoke because somebody requested it in the comments below. If you want an operator doing, get it on the list. I'll add it to my list. I've got a bit of a to-do list now, but I really appreciate every like, comment, and every subscriber. We're on the road to that big 5K now, so thank you very much for getting involved. I genuinely, I'm so grateful. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.